Losing your home to something like a fire, it's one of the worst things you can imagine. But what if the rebuilding process itself? What if that part didn't have to be a second disaster all on its own? Today, we're going to look at a much smarter way to build back from the ashes.
Yeah, for anyone who's actually been through this, they know the fire is just the start. The second disaster is everything that comes after. This bureaucratic nightmare of crazy high costs, permit backlogs that go on forever, and not enough people to actually do the work. It's completely overwhelming right when you're at your most vulnerable.
Okay, so first, let's really dig into that crisis after the fire, the insane uphill battle of trying to rebuild the old-fashioned way.
But that's the problem. So what's the solution? Well, that brings us to a totally different approach. A genuinely smarter way to build that offers a real way out of this crisis. So what is this thing? It's called custom modular construction. And look, it is probably not what you're picturing. This isn't about picking a pre-designed box out of a catalog. No, this is a completely bespoke process. Your custom-designed home gets built in sections inside a factory, and then those pieces are brought to your property and assembled. You get all the perks of high-end personal design, but with the speed and efficiency you only get from modern manufacturing.
Right, so let's just bust the biggest myth right out of the gate. The word prefab makes a lot of people think of these generic cookie-cutter boxes, right? This is something else entirely. We're talking about fully customizable homes. You can adjust the layouts, put the windows where you want them, and pick from high-end finishes. The whole point is that it's designed to be uniquely yours.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. This is the absolute game changer. With a traditional build, everything has to happen in order, one step after another. You can't even start framing the house until the foundation is completely finished. It's slow and you're at the mercy of the weather, right? Rain, snow, you name it. But with custom modular, the process is parallel. While the crew's preparing your land and pouring the foundation, your home is already being built somewhere else, inside a climate-controlled factory. That one fundamental shift saves a massive amount of time.
And that one simple shift, doing things at the same time, it unlocks 3 huge benefits that directly tackle the biggest pain points of rebuilding. Let's break them down.
First up, speed. And this is a big one. Because you're overlapping the site prep with the actual home construction, you can literally cut the project timeline in half, sometimes even more. Think about that. We're talking about getting a family back into their home months sooner, not just weeks. All right, number 2, the cost. Factories can buy materials like lumber and windows in huge quantities, which means they get better prices. Plus, building indoors means way less waste. All those efficiencies can add up to some serious cost savings. We're talking up to 20%. For a family who's stretching every single insurance dollar, that is a huge deal. And third, and this might be the most important part, we're talking about building stronger, building for resilience. These homes are literally engineered to survive in fire country. They use exterior materials that won't burn and special vents that are designed to stop embers, which, by the way, are the #1 cause of homes catching fire during a wildfire, from getting inside. It's about building peace of mind right into the structure of your home.
But believe it or not, the benefits don't even stop there. Building in a factory means the quality control is way higher and more consistent. Your building materials aren't getting warped by rain or stolen from the job site. It's even better for the environment because there's less waste. And crucially, it means fewer on-site inspections are needed. And you know what that means in a disaster zone where inspectors are stretched thin? It means you're not stuck waiting for months just for a sign-off.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it actually look like for a homeowner who's just lost everything? That brings us to the rebuilding blueprint. The key here is having a single, integrated team that manages the entire 4-step process. It creates this seamless, kind of white glove experience. It all starts with step 1, the action plan. Basically, can we do this and what's it going to look like? From there, the team handles all the technical stuff, the architecture, the engineering, getting the permits. Then comes the fun part. You get to do the interior design, pick the materials, and make the house feel like your home. And finally, that parallel construction process kicks in. Everything gets delivered and the home is assembled. The whole goal is just a clear, predictable path from beginning to end.
And here's the real magic in all of this. It's that single, integrated team. Instead of you trying to juggle an architect over here, a contractor over there, and an interior designer somewhere else, you just work with one team. They handle absolutely everything, from checking out the site at the very beginning to putting on the final finishes. That alone removes a massive layer of stress from an already impossible situation.
So this model is a powerful idea for one family, But what happens when you scale it up? What happens when a whole neighborhood does this together? That's where it gets truly transformative. So, let's talk about rebuilding neighborhoods together.
I mean, just think about this question for a second. Instead of every family trying to navigate this impossible maze by themselves, what if neighbors could actually coordinate and work together?
Because when you rebuild as a group, you unlock this incredible power called economy of scale. Suddenly, neighbors can split the costs for big expenses like grading the land or digging trenches for utilities. They can coordinate their permit submissions to the city and get huge bulk discounts on materials. And this is key. This collective approach doesn't mean you all get the same house. Everyone still gets their own unique, custom-designed home. You just get it done faster and cheaper.
You know, it's funny. It sounds super futuristic, but in a way, it's really a modern version of how so many of our classic neighborhoods were built in the first place. Efficiently, affordably, with similar ideas but enough variation to make each home feel personal. It's taking a smart idea from the past and updating it for the future.
So that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? We started out by talking about that second disaster, the absolute nightmare of trying to rebuild. But what if this solution, building smarter, faster, and more resiliently together, isn't just a better way to recover? What if it's actually our best defense? A blueprint for creating safer, stronger communities before the next disaster even strikes?